everybody, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Glovilika Imbe. If this is your first time on this channel, you are welcome. Guys, my light keeps going dimmer and I don't know what's going on. I have no idea, but I hope that you can see this bright smile. And thank you so much for clicking onto this video. God bless you for that. In this video, I'm going to be discussing why many marriages, especially African or traditional marriages, don't survive in first world countries. The reason why I use South Africa is because South Africa is considered as one of the most westernized countries in Africa. And with that being said, also the country has so many laws that really protects women and children, which makes it a bit difficult for some men to do things that they would have done, back home, where there are no laws, where women are not really protected by human rights. I remember I was talking with a lady friend of mine, and she was telling me about this group of people, especially Congolese people, that have been saying that, hey, don't allow your wife to travel alone because she might not come back. Traveling, I love traveling actually. And that friend of mine was telling me that someone was telling her that, hey, don't travel alone because if you travel, someone like your wife will not return. Someone was telling her husband, your wife will not return. She will stay wherever she is. And we actually laughed it off. We made a few comments and we actually laughed it off. So that really prompted it prompted this this video, actually the idea behind this video. One of the first reasons why many marriages fail in first world countries, especially African marriages, is the mindset, the African mindset. When you come from Africa, you want to go into this country that has all these laws and all these things that protect women. Most African cultures do not protect the girl child. Should you have that African mentality of supremacy over your wife, you are still in Africa and you have this mindset, or when you're still in your country where that is acceptable, you have this mindset of supremacy, this mindset. When I say supremacy, of course, the husband is the head of the wife and he submits to the Holy Spirit. And then but you get those who are really domineering to a point that the wife feels like she's in a cage. The wife feels like she's stuck in one way or the other. And then you find yourself in this foreign country. You find yourself in this foreign country with this woman. I'm telling you, do you think she's gonna stick around with this type of treatment? In this country, in your country, she might stay with you because she thinks, oh goodness, how am I going to look after my children? I might not have the finances. And then you go to this country where, oh, okay, even though she's no longer with you, she can still survive, and her main concern are her children can still be taken care of. She would want to leave you in a heartbeat. So if you're not treating your wife right, you are too traditionalist, you are too much into, it should be the man is this, the man is that, you don't really have time to really have a solid relationship with your wife. It will really affect you should you wish to travel into another country. So yeah, that is the first point that I wanted to put out. The second reason why many marriages fail when they go overseas is that lack of information, lack of research. Guys, take your time to research, take your time to really research the type of country you're going into. Like in the first point, I spoke about the relationship. What kind of relationship do you guys have? Do you have a good relationship, or is your relationship purely traditional, where the wife must do this, the husband must do that? Do your research to know, in the country that we want to go and reside in, how is it going to affect our marriage? Are we going to survive? Are we going to survive in this place, especially when you have children? What is going to be your family dynamic? Are you that type of a traditional husband that expects things to be done this way and the wife does all the chores? Because in some countries, you will find yourself in a position where both husband and wife have to work and children have to maybe be in aftercare. In that case, you will have to share chores, maybe share bills. How are you guys going to how are you going to manage that? How are you going to share your roles and so forth? So do your research beforehand before embarking into that country, in terms of finding jobs, in terms of schools. Is it a good place for you to raise your children? Not only for your marriage, but is it a good place for you to raise your children? Because let me tell you something, moving to another country is not only about changing the geographical location. It's spiritual, it is psychological, it is emotional, and it is going to change you as an individual. And if you guys are not strong, that is what is going to break you. Are you guys going to use that situation to draw closer, or are you going to allow that to move you apart? The third point will be finance. This is one of the things that affects many marriages. People don't like to talk about this, but yeah, financial stress can break a marriage. You find people, because of finance, you start arguing over things that you never even argued about. I remember seeing a couple, I think it was on Facebook, I can't even remember, but they were going like head to head, where the wife is like, no, I also pay the bills in this other. Guys like, I also pay the bills in this other, but still you must do this, you must do that. What I took from there is that they are frustrated, the one is frustrated and the other one is frustrated. I understand the husband's plea to have his wife help him, and I also understand where the wife is coming from, like, hey, if I'm doing these things, because you, the man, are supposed to be the provider, so if you are doing these things and I'm also doing it, why don't you do XYZ as well around the house? So finances is one of the biggest, and to really have to be communicated properly, where the other person doesn't have to feel neglected. Because most cases when someone is feeling neglected financially, I am telling you, they are going to run. For example, if you are a woman that likes to spend money anyhow, and you have this guy here is working himself back and forth, he barely gets time to sleep, and when he brings the money home, you spend it, that man is gonna run away. He is eventually going to run away. You get those who will still stick around and die of depression and heart attack, but you get those who just run away because he can't deal with it. So you guys really have to sit and think, okay, cool, we are in this country. What are we going to do with our finances? How are you going to manage our finances? And how are we going to do? Are we going to save? Are we not going to save? Are we going to speak about these things? Because when you don't speak about these things, they are going to affect you in the long run. So I remember there are so many, even here in South Africa, like there were some Congolese couples where the husband and wife are both working, but the wife has to give her entire salary to the husband, and the husband will be buying clothes, buying shoes, buying this and that, and the wife is feeling like, no, but this is not on. And whenever the wife will ask her husband for money, the husband will be like, unfortunately, I don't have money for that, or I don't have money for this. And the wife will start feeling, uneasy, and the children are all grown teenagers already, like, what are you doing? So you really have to speak about these things beforehand. And you also have to make sure that God is really sending you into that country for the season that you are in. Let's not forget about unmet expectations. We really have to speak about expectations. Like I said, in terms of finances, speak about what are the financial expectations that you have towards your partner. In terms of finances, in terms of raising children, in terms of running the house, how in terms of your relationship as a couple. What are your expectations? What do you expect from your husband? What do you expect from your wife? Have a moment to discuss these things, because most of the times it is these unmet expectations. And when I say unmet expectations, you are thinking that your husband will immediately, fall into place and do this and do that for you. It is not always possible. Or even maybe yourself as a husband, you are expecting your wife, you have these expectations that you have not communicated to your wife on how she should do this and how she should do that. And your wife she can't read your mind. You know what I mean? So talk about these unmet expectations and really have a sincere conversation. Even if it means writing them down, write them down, because these things are really going to affect you in the long run. They're going to affect your relationship. They are going to affect you. Also keep in mind that if you are in a country where laws are being respected, you cannot abuse your wife anyhow. You cannot bring your entire African mentality. It is however encouraged to keep your family values of where you come from, Africa, Asia, or wherever. It is very important to keep those family values, but try and find a common ground on how you can merge those two. Okay, in this country you're living in, try and adhere to the rules of that country, and also try your best to treat each other right, treat your husband right, treat your wife right, and you guys will still stay like this. And there won't be stories of many broken marriages because people decided to jackpot, because people decided to relocate, because people decided to do XYZ. Because one thing here in South Africa, they will tell you, hey, don't bring your wife to South Africa because women over there don't listen. It's just a issue of control, you know. It's easy to control your wife over there, but then when you come to a place where there are rules and regulations, where you as a man are challenged to act a certain way, to adhere to certain rules, then you start feeling like this place is not the place for me, this is not the place to be. So yeah, we really have to be careful of those. So these are the few points that I actually came up with as to why many marriages abroad, even here in South Africa, why some marriages fail. I hope you watched till the end. If you agree with me, please do let me know below, and please add. Let us have a discussion, guys. We need to have these discussions. It's one thing to pray and do all these things and decree and declare, but if we are not talking about these things, how will society change? Because there are things we need to pray about and things that we need to talk about, and it is very important. So God bless you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.